Dean, these sessions are always fun after a championship. We're 10 days old, or thereabouts. The dust is starting to settle. How do you feel? How's the last 10 days been when we reflect on the championship success this year?
Yeah, a lot to reflect on for the whole year, but obviously the group that we put together, the challenges that we went through, and the quality of people that we brought together in this group to win a championship, it just felt the right way to go out. So I know we celebrated after the game, and then
it was a short celebration, I can share.
A very short celebration, and straight back into it with the new season coming around. But you know, there's so many highlights of the championship, and you know, one being Udai Bubba. I think we just keep talking about him and the amazing character that he was and what he brought to our group, and you know, the best Asian player to ever come to our league and to win a championship. Outstanding.
Yeah, he was such a fabulous person, and really to touch on that point, you know, you talked about the type of people we brought in, the character of this group, the culture of the group. This year was such a difficult year for so many reasons, but it was such an easy year to work with this group of athletes, the support staff, the staff here at the office. Like, it just felt like from the start to the end that we were always going to overcome obstacles because we had such high character people. Udai was an amazing pickup for us. Jock Landell.
Huge.
What can you say about Jock? I mean, he was unbelievable.
Yeah, you know, not to fall in our lap, but to have a Victorian player practicing with us, getting ready to go to the NBA, and then that dream didn't quite come true this year, but it came through for us, and I think it's something that he'll look back on in his career and say, you know, that was an amazing year for me, both for my mental health, both for my playing, and now he gets himself to the Olympics, and we look forward to following his journey. And
not to, you know, I don't want to harp on all the players, but I think there are a couple there that for me were just extraordinary. Mitch McCarron. We signed him 3 years ago. I remember you and I sitting in the office here at Moorabbin. We had a dungy old office down there that we loved, and we had this crazy idea that, you know, we could recruit Mitch with the whole idea of making him our starting point guard, and that transition you managed really well. He adapted really well, and I thought his performance this year was unbelievable. Nothing short of fantastic.
Yeah, you know, it was a long-term deal, and took us the third year to get him to, or for us to totally trust the process for him to go ahead and lead the team. And you know, once he got it, there was the challenges of changing position, but I think halfway through the year we all felt that he'd really grasped this position well, and that he could help lead us to a pretty good place. And then we saw him, you know, step up in big moments and share the basketball and play the defense that allowed everybody else to shine as well.
Yeah, he was a wonderful contributor, and as was our captain, Chris Goulding. You know a lot he said about Chris, but I thought Chris was an incredible leader from the beginning to the end. I thought the season that he had, probably I think the best season he's had with our club. I know that's a big thing for me to say, but I genuinely think the way he carried himself through the year, the way he conducted himself on the court, and the way he stepped up in pressure moments and really gave the team some leadership was extraordinary. He's off now to the Olympic Games too, which is such a pleasing reward for all of us who know him. But tell us a little bit about how special Chris is to our club.
Yeah, you know, it was a massive off-season signing for us to get him locked in for 3 years. Then we saw possibly the off-season being great for him, just having a little extra time to work on his body, and probably the healthiest that we've had him over these last few years, and not the off-season commitments. And so yeah, I thought, you know, that part being his body being great, him in a really good place about, you know, the leadership that he had, the people that he had around him to support his captaincy, and we went with a different model to start with, but then you know, it came to a point where we needed leaders to stand up, and you know, he grabbed it that second half of the year and held people accountable, but yeah, delivered on the court at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, he was wonderful. I mean, we could talk about every single player on our list, but this video would end up going for 20 minutes, and I'd probably get in trouble, which I don't want to do. So now, we've got this beautiful bit of silverware here to go alongside the 5 that are on the right behind us. A couple are there from the Melbourne Tigers days, a couple from Melbourne United days, which is really great to see. And no pressure, mate, but we wouldn't mind a few more. I mean, it's a small and humble desk, but we're happy to extend it if we need to. So now that we put this one behind us, we talk a little bit about free agency. We didn't get a lot of time to celebrate the championship. The very next day, we're talking about free agency and dealing with the ins and outs. How are you feeling? Where's our team placed? Talk to me a little bit about the philosophy that we're going with this year and how you see it playing out.
Yeah, it's always a challenge to any year to bring the whole team back, and we saw the success of Mitch McCarron and Sam McDaniels, and both we wish them well in their new ventures, and we would have loved to have them back, but we can't keep everybody, and so we wish them well and move forward. Having the re-signings that we had were really important with Shea Illy returning, with Joe Akul returning, Dave Barlow returning. Love him. Keep going.
Evergreen.
Keeps going, but yeah, Joe, 6th man of the year. We expect to see a lot more from him this season, and believe he'll come in and play a major role for us next year. And then, we look at there's an extra import this year. We have to look at that market. We saw the value in the Asian market, so we continue to look at that. And then, we just got to sit and wait on a few things. But there's some exciting local players that aren't too far away that we think that we can add to our roster that'll really strengthen it up as well.
Yeah, and it's something that I know in my time working with you and putting these teams together. There is always a long-term approach. There is always a overarching philosophy that we take into the season or these seasons as we go. And I think being able to retain some of those core pieces are crucial to that. As you said, you touched on Mitch going and you touched on Sam going, and we wish them nothing but the best. It's great for them and their families and their future careers. They're championship players with us. They'll always be championship players for Melbourne United. And hopefully one day we look forward to all reconnecting and celebrating the journey that was this year. It's something to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's another big movement in our club, and that is the CEO position, which you've held for a long time.
Yes, I don't know, 8 or 9 years. My son Lewis is here, and he was just born, I think, so he's 8, so 8 years.
Yeah, and again, I think 3 of these championships are directly involved in you as well, and 3 that we've been involved in directly. So you're moving on. I'll get to the celebration part of that in a moment, but what's the club look like moving forward with you taking a role at the NBL?
I am unbelievably proud of what we've achieved at this club. There are so many milestones from, I remember having to go on the journey of the rebrand. I remember the upheaval that we felt, but I also remember 6,000 fans turning up to the first game at what's now known as John Cain Arena. And at that point in time, that was the biggest crowd that had been to a game in Melbourne basketball for, I think, 6 or 7 years. And so I knew that we captured the imagination and reinvigorated the sport here in Melbourne with that brand change. But to go from there, with all the difficulties we had those first couple of seasons, trying to understand who we were, what our identity was, how we functioned together, to take it all the way over to the NBA, and I think that 1 point loss to OKC, that fully loaded
Come
team.
on, Casey.
Yeah, Casey Prather. But that was an amazing experience to come back to win the championship that year. To lose it the following year, and the bitterness that we felt. I remember sitting at St Kilda Sea Baths the day after game four I think it was, and trying to work through how that all unfolded, to winning it again this season. And off the court, so many great things have happened. We've gone to a multiple ownership model, which has made the club sustainable for years to come. We brought in incredible people at the top end of the ownership structure and the board who are invested, invigorated. They've got great ideas, and I know that they're going to take this club to another level. And I've never been more comfortable walking away from an opportunity because I know how great the people around this club are, starting with yourself, Mark Boyd, David. There's so many people here, and to know that we've been able to attract a really up-and-coming, successful executive from the sports industry, Nick Charleston, who's coming from the Western Bulldogs. Like, I'm thrilled, I'm humbled, I'm actually a little overwhelmed with it. Everyone's been asking me all the time, but for me personally, it's like, had a job to do, came in, was able to work with incredible people, celebrate and share in amazing experiences, and I walk out the door knowing that this club will be better in 12 months because of all of the things that we've done, but also the changes that are being made. So yeah, I'm unbelievably thankful. I think the message I've got for everybody out there though is to stay the course. This year was an incredibly tough year. COVID meant it was really difficult to get our fans into the building. It was really difficult to give everybody certainty. It's probably the one thing that we both think about where we go, the Adelaide series where we're 10,000 people, it's rocking, and people are in there celebrating that journey, to this year having 5,000 as our capacity limit in Victoria. I'm unbelievably thankful to everybody that stayed with us this year. Our sponsors have been just phenomenal. They are not just sponsors who are on the journey with a commercial transaction. They love the club. They're there celebrating every single week. They're communicating with the club. They're helping us in any way they can. We had COVID this year. We had Derrimut Gyms come step up to the party with gym equipment to the house, food going to the doors. Every single one of our sponsors contributed in some way to this. So I feel like this family is only just at its infancy. And my biggest message to everybody is to stay connected, stay united, get on board and keep supporting the club through the highs and lows, because it's an amazing club filled with great people, and there's a lot more to come.
On behalf of the club, the fans, the sponsors, the players, the wives, we want to thank you for the passion that you've given this club, the leadership that you've given this club, the friendship and connections that you've created, and no one will be able to replace you, but we'll move forward and hopefully in a direction that allows us to win a few more of these in the future. So again, thank you for everything.
Thank you, Dean, and thank you to everybody at Melbourne United. This is my last official gig. Tom said I can drop the mic, but he didn't give me one. So I'm just going to drop the mic and say thank you. Look forward to seeing you at a Melbourne United game next season. Have a great 3 months. See you at John Cain Arena.